The girl fell in love with her childhood friend, but he had always seen her as a boy. It wasn't until they got to middle school, when they wore different uniforms, that he realized the truth.
スカートははしゃぎすぎだろう。何デビューだよ。え？
Tomo just found out that he had always thought of her as a boy. She couldn't accept this reality. After hearing this, Misuzu couldn't even be bothered to talk about how silly Kubota was. However, she was concerned whether they would still be able to get along like they used to, but the naive Tomo believed Kubota wouldn't care about something like that. Misuzu, on the other hand, thought this wasn't a trivial matter. Sure enough, after realizing that Tomo was a girl, Kubota started reflecting on their past interactions. He now realized that he should have noticed earlier. Had he subconsciously ignored it? At that moment, a classmate ran over and asked Kubota if he was dating Tomo. That's when Kubota understood the impact that gender differences could have. Afterward, Kubota planned to talk to Tomo, but he felt too shy. Meanwhile, during break, other classmates were asking Tomo if she was dating Kubota.
あいつ、俺のこと全然女だと思ってねえもん。
Tomo was chatting with some boys when Kubota stumbled upon them, and his face immediately darkened. When Tomo greeted him, he chose to ignore her. The people around them could feel the tension from Kubota. Tomo was aware of the situation, but Kubota regretted his actions. A year passed, and during that time, Tomo and Kubota didn't speak to each other. They only greeted each other when necessary. Kubota thought about reconciling, but he was afraid of others' misunderstanding, which might leave a bad memory for Tomo. Misuzu was also troubled. She had expected Tomo to become more mature in middle school, but she was still the same. Because of their physical differences, Misuzu felt like she couldn't play with Tomo anymore, and she didn't want to run around every day. On the other side, Kubota suddenly thought that if he started dating someone, it wouldn't affect Tomo anymore. Misuzu, however, thought someone should step in and talk to Tomo about Kubota. While they were both troubled about Tomo, Misuzu and Kubota met. So, Kubota suggested that he and Misuzu date. On their way back, Kubota was curious why Misuzu agreed. For Misuzu, the key to maintaining a good relationship was whether they had the same goal. Then Misuzu extended her hand, because a relationship should look like one. Although Kubota didn't like Misuzu, this was his first time holding a girl's hand. It made him feel shy. But soon, Misuzu no longer wanted to hold hands, because her hand felt all sticky. It turned out Kubota had been so nervous that his palm was sweating. When they parted ways, Misuzu told Kubota to call her by her name from now on, since they were officially dating. After getting home, Kubota still couldn't believe Misuzu had actually agreed to date him.
俺の彼女か。
At that moment, Misuzu was thinking the same thing. After all, they were each other's first love. Even though they knew they had no future, Misuzu was still happy. However, the good memories were short-lived, because their personalities and interests were completely different. Their first date was a bike ride up a mountain, and Misuzu was exhausted. Kubota even asked her how the view was, which made Misuzu so angry her hair almost caught fire. The next day was a fishing trip. Seeing how disappointed Misuzu looked, Kubota knew the date wasn't going well. Misuzu deeply regretted dating Kubota.